it's domestic violence. There's no room for it. There's no room for it. But unfortunately, what there is a ginormous space in this society where domestic violence is in evidence every single day in multiple relationships, and some of them you will know and you'll hide away from and you'll ignore because you're embarrassed to raise it, because you're embarrassed to mention it, because possibly you're wrong. How awkward would that be? But possibly you're right. And then how devastating would that be? There are people taking their own lives every single day in this country as a result of domestic violence. And that is dads, and that is mums, and that is husbands, and that is wives. And they are taking their life as the only way out. At the same time as that is happening, and that in itself is tragic, there are people being killed every week in this country. It doesn't hit the papers because it's not interesting anymore. But there are people being killed in their relationships every week in this country as a result of the epidemic that we have of domestic abuse. Last year, in 2024, there were over 2 million reports to the police of domestic abuse incidents. And here's 2 interesting facts to follow that up with. Number 1, of the 2 million reports of domestic abuse in this country, the police believe that probably represents 20%, only 20% of the incidents that actually took place. So 2 million incidents were reported. That suggests that 12 million incidents actually took place. What a frightening number that is. And here's the other thing that we need to know about people who report incidents of domestic abuse to the police. They have already been, according to the statistics, well-researched statistics, they have already been the victim of at least 50 incidents before they pluck up the courage to go to the police and report them. 50 incidents of abuse within their relationship before they find the spirit, the courage, whatever it may be, the desperation in order to go and report that matter to the police. And there is an assumption in this country, there is a widely held assumption in this country that domestic abuse is a penchant for women, that only the women are victims of domestic abuse. And I'm sorry, but that is just not the case, because unfortunately, men are also the victims of domestic abuse. And sadly, the problem that we have in this country is we struggle to acknowledge that. We struggle to acknowledge that that is a thing, that that is a real proposition, that men are victims of domestic abuse. And as a virtue of that, there's very little by way of support for men who are victims of domestic abuse. There is umpteen projects available to women to go and present themselves as victims of domestic abuse. And each of those projects does wonderful work, absolutely wonderful work. There are very, very, very few. And so what do men do? I'll tell you what they do, and I'm going to close on this point, because what they do is they reach a point where they can't go on, and they check out, and they never come back.